Good morning. I'm Jordan Slocum, and this is the Doane College Review on 99.5 KUTT. Every Saturday morning from 8 until 8:30, we take a look at what's going on around Doane College athletics, academics, and more. On today's program, we'll speak with Doane men's basketball coach Jim Weeks, Doane men's and women's tennis coach Pete Fiumefreddo, and Mary Olk, coordinator of campus engagement and leadership. We begin today with the men's basketball team and head coach Jim Weeks. His team is about a third of the way through their season. What has he seen to this point?
Our last 5-6 games, we're competing as hard as we can compete, doing a lot of really good things. We're a little bit beat up. We got 3 guys that are injured, and just in basketball, you lose 3 guys. That really hampers your ability to be the best you can be. But our spirits are good. We're practicing well. We like each other. We're improving. So got to like that part.
Do you have any game that stands out as the most complete performance so far?
I would probably say that against a good opponent would be Hastings. They're ranked 22nd or 23rd in the country, and we were ahead 17 at halftime. So I think by our best all-around game against a good opponent.
Talking to Doane men's basketball coach Jim Weeks here on the Doane College Review on 99.5 KUTT. Are there any areas that stand out as most improved from the start of the year to now?
Our defense, our ability to guard people, it's way better than it was at the beginning of the year. And I think, I don't know if you know this terminology, but the word pack line. People used to say in college you need to run pack line, which means that you're not out pressuring people. You're in the gaps and stopping people from driving. Well, I think that works good when you're playing teams that have a couple guys that can't score other than shoot layups. Let's say a Division I school that has a couple guys that can't shoot great, but they're just athletic as could be. Well, what we started doing, we just started going back to playing really tough on-ball defense. We call it out. So we're pressuring out on the perimeter, getting after people, because people can shoot it so much better at our level. So when we did that, it got us to be more aggressive, and it made it hard for other teams to get by off the dribble and score. I think we played a lot better because of that change.
Has anything surprised you about this group so far?
Surprised. Well, like I said earlier, the injuries just really hamper you, and so we got 3 guys that are trying to get healthy, and when those guys get healthy, I think we'll be better. Other than that, surprise probably. We shot it awfully well early in the year. At one time, we were third in the country on made 3-point shots in games, and we're not a guy I'm not a guy that comes down and just takes the first shot. We usually try to get 2 sides. So I think we're shooting it pretty well.
Talking again to Doane men's basketball coach Jim Weeks here on the Doane College Review. Does one team stand out as your strongest opponent so far?
Well, Briarcliff was preseason rated in the top 5 in the country, and their 4th option guy on their team, which we kind of helped off on Saturday, was 6 for 9 on 3-point shots. And when your 4th option guy is, shooting, 65% behind the 3-point arc or better, throughout the game, it's going to be hard to beat those guys. So they don't look great when you introduce them. They look, just like normal people. They're not big, strong, athletic, but boy, do they have skills, and they can play the game. So they were a hard guard for us in the first half. And then Tabor, we went down to Tabor and played just athletic, really athletic team, and we couldn't stop them unless we double team. And anytime you have to double team somebody's going to get a wide open shot. When you always have to double team some people, there's always somebody going to, and it's college basketball. High school, you try to take away things away. We can take some things away, but people can shoot it, drive it right, drive it left, have a mid-range, can finish. There are a variety of things they can do. That's why they're college basketball players. So just makes it tougher when you have to double team.
Talking to Doane College men's basketball coach Jim Weeks on the Doane College Review. Obviously, a number of teams in the GPAC are ranked as of right now. When you look at this year's GPAC, do you think Briar Cliff is the top team, or does someone else jump out to you?
You know what? That's a great question. I think it's very even. I mean, I really think there's 10 teams that can beat anybody at any night. You know, I think Dakota Wesleyan went into Briar Cliff and beat them by 5 or 6, and the next Wednesday Dakota Wesleyan gets beat by Dort. So I think everything is possible. I think there's not one team that just really stands out, and they're the top dog. So, I think you have to win home games and then try to snake out as many road games as you possibly can win.
You mentioned the two teams you'll be playing before the holiday break. You've got Dort this Saturday, and the following Saturday, Dakota Wesleyan. What do you see looking at those two squads?
They're completely different. Dort's going to come at you, and they're going to get the ball inside to nauseam. They're going to get it inside every possession. Dakota Wesleyan spreads the floor, and they're going to shoot threes and drive you. So, I mean, you just have to be ready for. You got to be multiple. You got to be versatile. You got to be able to stop Dort's consistent hammering of getting the ball inside with their bigs and driving it. And then against Dakota Wesleyan, you got to be able to play in space. So a little bit like football, you know what I mean? So it's fun and exciting, and that's the thing about college. You have a lot of time to prepare, and it's fun, and it's exciting basketball, and really makes you a lot better coach, makes you a lot better players.
Again, talking to Doane men's basketball coach Jim Weeks. Last question, Coach, as we get to the end of December, what are the biggest things you want to see from your team?
You know, the biggest thing, and we're doing a good job of this, is being really good teammates. If guys show up and they have energy, they root for each other, they're having great practices, they're competing, then off the floor they are trying to get to know each other, encouraging, talking about each promoting each other, supporting each other. Being a great teammate it's fun to be around guys that want to play for each other and play smart and like each other. That's huge. And then Krzyzewski at Duke always his biggest thing was become a better teammate each day. And you don't do that by just being a nice guy. You got to do that. There's a lot of factors involved in that. So being a great teammate is huge for us. And these guys are good at it, and they're getting better, and they're fun to be around.
Again, that was Doane College basketball coach Jim Weeks on the Doane College Review here on 99.5 KUTT. And once again, the Tigers are in action today as they'll be hosting Dort College. The women will be tipping off at 2, with the men at 4. Again, this is the Doane College Review on 99.5 KUTT. I'm Jordan Slocum. As mentioned, the basketball teams are in action today, but also in action today is the Doane wrestling team. They'll be competing all day long as part of the UNK Loper Open. Additionally, the wrestling team received some more news. They're now 11th in the latest NAIA Top 20 Coaches poll. And 4 Doane wrestlers are ranked in the top 16 in their weight class. Kevin Corbett is second at 174 pounds. Cody Linton, second at 197. Martin Phillips is 12th at 157, and Lance Lucas is 14th at 165. In terms of actual action this past week, it was very quiet. All we had was last Saturday's basketball, where both Doane teams were unable to beat Briar Cliff on the road. The women's final was 86-67, the men's final 108-85. But we did have news from off the field. 3 Doane athletes received honors from their Sports Coaches Association. Men's soccer player Gabe Garbin and women's soccer player Sarah Cushing were both named Second Team All-Plains Region by the National Soccer Coaches Association of America. Additionally, volleyball player Shelby Milnzak was chosen as an honorable mention All-West Central Region by the American Volleyball Coaches Association. Additionally, numerous Doane athletes were named as NAIA Scholar Athletes. To be recognized, you must be at least a junior academically and hold a 3.50 grade point average. Honored from the men's soccer team were Nick Stevenson, Gabe Garbin, Taylor Hayes, Riley Jones, and Alex Wells. From the women's soccer team, Sarah Cushing, Kylie Horton, Michaela James, and Kaylee King. And on the volleyball team, Megan Fletcher, Brianna Fye, Haley Norvell, Erin Keel, Rachel Weissey, and Shayla Weichman. Congratulations to each of these student athletes for their ability in the classroom as well as in their sports. Again, this is the Doane College Review on 99.5 KUTT. Every Saturday morning from 8 until 8:30, we take a look at what's going on around Doane College athletics, academics, and more. Still to come on the program, we'll be talking with Mary Olk, Coordinator of Campus Engagement and Leadership at Doane. She'll be telling us about the Student Programming Board and some of the events they'll be putting on. But right now in the program, it's time to hear from Pete Fiumefreddo. He's the head men's and women's tennis coach for Doane College. First off, Coach, the teams did have limited fall competition. Overall thoughts on what you saw there?
We like to use the first. We practiced for about 2 months in the fall, and we had some good showings. We usually set up the ladder. We set up doubles teams if we can, do some conditioning, a little weightlifting. Overall, I thought the team played well this fall. We had a couple injuries, one in the summertime. Kayla Bamsberger hurt her knee, tore her ACL in an early summer tournament. So she has kind of been rehabbing all fall, trying to get that back ready to go. And then, unfortunately, our number one player, Sebastian Gransberg from Sweden, he dislocated his knee about a month into the fall season. So he is definitely on the rehab right now, and we're trying to get him back for conference. But in general, we had a good showing. We played in the ITA tournament up in Omaha, and everybody played well against some very, very tough competition. I'm pretty happy with what we accomplished in the fall, especially trying to overcome a couple of injuries.
Certainly the injuries hurt, but entering the winter, do you feel the team's in a good place?
Yeah, everybody had a solid fall. Other than that, got a lot of good playing in. We played a ton of ladder matches, so we got to play against one another quite a bit. And that always helps, gives you some more experience in playing good, tough matches. That means something. So, yeah, in general, I'm pretty happy with what we accomplished over the fall.
This is the Doane College Review on 99.5 KUTT, talking to Pete Fiumefreddo, the head men's and women's tennis coach at Doane. What is some of the work you're able to do during the winter months?
Well, like I said, we do practice for the first 2 months, and then after that, the players are free to go out and hit whenever they want to, whenever they can. We also have 4 indoor tennis courts inside Fiera Fieldhouse. So a lot of them take advantage of that. Now, this fall, we've been extremely lucky. Beautiful weather. We haven't missed too many practices outside and still able to hit. So, we've had great weather, a great opportunity to keep playing.
What have been some of the focuses for the team during the winter?
Usually what we try to do is just get a good strength base, try to get good cardio going, kind of be prepared for the season. So once we start the season, we can kind of prevent any injuries from happening, any wear and tear type injuries especially.
Again, talking to Doane men's and women's tennis coach Pete Fiumefreddo here on the Doane College Review. Are there any facets of the sport that stand out as strengths with this group?
I think one of our biggest strengths as a team, both the men and women really, really care for one another. We're kind of a family. We take care of each other. They enjoy each other's company on and off the court. Tennis is really an individual sport sort of wrapped with a little bit of a team dynamic. And, I can't say enough about how our kids care for one another and try to take care of each other. And when you get into heated matches, that tends to help. So I'm excited about this upcoming season. And this kind of should be a big plus to us as a team.
Do you have anybody who really stands out in terms of leadership?
Yeah, on the men's side, Sebastian, who's injured right now, most definitely on and off the court, he is a big leader for the team. And then Chris Keeland from Canada, he's a great leader also. Great student, great work ethic, puts in a ton of extra time, always working out, always hitting. He's a leader verbally and physically. What he does, couldn't say enough good things about Chris. And then on the women's side, we have two, Savannah Mitchell, who's a senior from Illinois, and Cheyenne Kemple from Lincoln. They both do a lot of extra work off the court, trying to get people motivated, playing extra matches, lifting and working out. So I have some good helpers, no doubt about it. I'm a coach by myself. I don't have any assistants, so they sort of are my assistant coaches.
Again, talking to Doane tennis coach Pete Fiumefreddo here on the Doane College Review. Now, how are some of the freshmen or newcomers to the program getting acclimated to everything?
Well, we're going to find out. We have 3 freshmen on the men's side that look to be playing in the top 6. Ignacio Morel from Madrid, Spain, Arcane Bowles from Lincoln, and Grayson McCartney from Papillion. They will be filling in for some very good players that graduated last year. So I'm excited what I've seen so far. You never really know how freshmen are going to play once it becomes live. So it's nice to get a few matches in early in the off season and kind of just see what they have, see what their strengths and weaknesses are and try to work on that before the season actually begins. But we're definitely on the men's side going to find out if we are, rebuilding or reloading. It's going to be very interesting. On the women's side, we have a really nice freshman girl from her name's Ashley Zansky from Westminster, Colorado. She's playing number 2 for us. Both her and Allie Bender, our number 1, are really close. So we really have 2 number 1s playing 1 and 2, which is a big, big help to us. So that should make our women's team a little bit stronger this year. And she's played really well in the fall. So I'm excited about her coming in as a freshman and doing well this year.
It's probably a bit hard to tell at this point, but what does the GPAC field look like for this year?
Well, it's definitely more up in the air on the women's side, I would say. We should be stronger, but it looks like some of the other teams are going to be a little bit stronger than they were last year as well. So on the women's side, you don't really know for sure. We could be in the top 3. We could be in the middle. Not really sure yet. On the men's side, it looks like, which it has been for the last few years, it's us and Hastings. If everybody's healthy, if I get everybody back on the team and everybody's healthy, I would say Hastings and us will be battling it out for first and second.
Again, talking to Doane tennis coach Pete Fiumefreddo here on the Doane College Review. Last question, Coach. In the next few months before the season gets underway, what are the biggest goals you have for your players?
Well, we're kind of ending the semester now. Hopefully everybody does well in finals and has a good holiday break. And then if they can, try to condition a little bit and just get ready for our season. It starts pretty quickly. About a week into our practicing, we start playing. So it's going to be a quick turnaround and kind of getting out of Christmas break, have to get rolling pretty quickly. So hopefully everybody has a good break and is ready to play once we get back.
Once again, that was Pete Fiumefreddo, Doane College men's and women's tennis coach. Up next on the program, we'll be talking to Mary Olk, coordinator of campus engagement and leadership at Doane. That's coming up next on the Doane College Review here on 99.5 KUTT. 99.5 KUTT has 2 more high school basketball doubleheaders before the holiday break. Friday, Fairbury hosts Crete with boys first, girls second. Pregame scheduled for 5:40, presented by Stop and Shop in Crete, Milford, and Lincoln, and Ken's U-Save Health Mart Pharmacy in Crete. Saturday, Diller Odell hosts Hanover, girls first, boys second. Pregame scheduled for 4:10. It's high school basketball on 99.5 KUTT. Welcome back to the Doane College Review on 99.5 KUTT. It's now time for our interview with Mary Olk. Mary is a coordinator of campus engagement and leadership at Doane. First off, Mary, you're involved with the Student Programming Board at Doane. Tell us a little bit about the Student Programming Board.
Yes, the Student Programming Board is a group of students that essentially work to provide student activities, entertainment, campus events, programs on campus, and they're free to any student to attend or participate in.
How do you get students interested and involved in being a part of the program?
Well, so the students who are on the programming board, there's an application process that they go through every spring semester, and they will apply and they will select a committee to be on, and then they will serve on that committee throughout the entire academic year. And as far as getting students to the events, they do tons of creative marketing, things completely off the wall. They talk to anyone and everyone to try and get them to come see what they're bringing for campus, because that is their goal, is to provide fun activities for all students to engage in on campus. So, I mean, they recently had a casino night. That's one of their big events in November that they do, and they played blackjack and card games and stuff in the student center to try to promote their event, and then get students interested and get them talking about casino night. So that's just an example.
This is the Doane College Review on 90.5 KUTT, talking to Mary Olk, who is the coordinator of campus engagement and leadership at Doane. You mentioned the casino night. What are some of the other types of programming you guys had over the last few months?
Yeah, of course. So in the fall, we obviously participated in Homecoming Week. So the Student Programming Board is responsible for all student-led fun activities that are offered during Homecoming Week. So they planned all of those. They have a coffee house series where they bring in a musical artist. They had a violinist who came in and did a show in our Common Grounds, which is our coffee house area. And they've brought in a hypnotist, which was actually really cool. About 20 students got up on stage, and they all got hypnotized, and they were all doing all of these crazy things. And naturally, all of their friends took videos of them doing all of these things. So it was just a really great time. And we've had student organization fairs. We've had movies, on a big blow-up screen. I mean, you name it.
Is that something you guys actively try to figure out, to have a good diversity in different types of things?
Yeah, they focus on anything from, like I said, homecoming and the more traditional activities when you think of campus activities, to recreation trips, to campus intramurals, to health and wellness initiatives. So the Student Programming Board offers free fitness classes to students. They offer a yoga class and a boot camp class, and they also host health education and awareness week, so stress awareness week, suicide prevention awareness week. So we try to offer things across the entire spectrum that students would be interested in, to engage as many students as possible and serve all of the students in the best way that we can.
Again, this is the Doane College Review on 90.5 KUTT, talking to Mary Olk, who is coordinator of campus engagement and leadership at Doane. Are there any types of events or events in particular that seem to be the most popular with the campus?
Events that are most popular with the campus, casino night is probably one of our, like I mentioned, that it's probably one of our big ones, but we also have an event called Donapalooza, which happens every spring, and that can be essentially anything that the students want it to be. They pick a day, and that day is Donapalooza, and then they will just plan tons of different activities for students to be involved in. So last year they had dunk tanks and slip and slides and inflatable games and obstacle courses and more carnival-y type games, I guess you could call them. And then they have their annual Doane's Got Talent. So we do a version of America's Got Talent, but we do it for Doane students. So students who are magicians and comedians, and they dance and they sing and they play their instruments, and they come together for a night and showcase their talents. So those are probably some of our more well-known events.
How does the programming board go about getting the word out about the various events that are going on?
They do a lot of social media campaigning, so they have social media advertising on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat, and then they have posters that go all around campus, and then they try to do probably 2 or 3 creative marketing initiatives, so hanging random things on the ceiling that will just make people say, what is this? And look at it, and it will say Casino Night, November 20th. Or they will post letters up on the wall throughout a whole week that will eventually create a word or something that they want the students to know, so it just generates interest. They will pass out candy with things on it. They will pass out free food. They will pass out little trinkets. They'll just go talk to people. I mean, there is no set thing that they really do. It's just whatever type of marketing strategy they can come up with that's creative, that gets students involved, that's different. and that is fun.
So do you find that the students that end up being a part of the board are more focused often on being like marketing type, advertising type majors or involved in that kind of field?
Actually, no. Our marketing team right now consists of a student who's majoring in business and then a student who is majoring in biology. She's just incredibly creative and has an eye and a knack for that type of thing. So we have students involved from tons of different majors: education majors, political science majors, science majors. It's across the board. They just have an interest and a knack for event planning and for creative marketing and they're just fun people. They're just fun students. So it makes it easy for them.
Again, talking to Mary Olk, Coordinator of Campus Engagement and Leadership at Doane College, here on the Doane College Review. You mentioned a few of the events, but what are some of the things that are coming up for the spring once we get past the exam weeks and into the next semester?
Yeah, in the spring, the first weekend back, we will have a comedian come to campus, and he will do a show on that Friday night. We will also have a big movie night. We haven't sorted out all of the details, but we will have a big movie night probably in our auditorium. We will do a couple food giveaways, and then we will continue our coffee house series, and we'll bring in a couple artists to come that are more singer-songwriter types to come play the guitar and showcase their music and their talents. We will also host some campus intramurals, and we'll do some different things that are more inside. So we'll have like a ping pong tournament because ping pong is huge on our campus. Students love to play ping pong, so we're going to host a ping pong tournament. And we're actually still talking all the details out and figuring all the other things that we can plan for the spring semester. But we've got a good list, and we're really excited.
Last question, Mary. For anybody who's interested in maybe becoming a part of the student programming board or just anybody who might want to volunteer to help put some of the events together, how can people go about getting involved?
Yeah, they can just contact me, stop in the Perry Campus Center here at Doane, or they can email me or give me a call or what have you. Any way to reach out to me is just fine. And yeah, we're always looking for new people to join Student Programming Board and help us make campus fun for students.
And do you guys have a spot on the website that has kind of like a list of events, a calendar?
We do. We do have a Doane calendar. You can find, it would just be easier, you can find all of our stuff on the Doane calendar. So it's doane.edu/calendar, and you can find all of the Student Programming Board events on there. And then, like I said, my name's Mary Olk, and they can contact me, and I'm on the Doane directory as well.
And the calendar has, sporting events and, pretty much anything that's going around Doane. They got it there for you.
Yes, they do. They have a list of every event, so not just SPB, but all of the student activities that happen throughout our office and throughout campus.
Once again, that was Mary Olk here on the Doane College Review. She's the Coordinator of Campus Engagement and Leadership at Doane College. And that'll just about wrap up this morning's edition of the Doane College Review on 99.5 KUTT. The winter break will be officially underway at Doane with winter commencement set for tomorrow at 1 p.m. Classes are set to resume in Crete on January 19th. During the break in classes, there are still a few athletic events going on. As mentioned today, the basketball teams are hosting Dort with the women at 2 and the men at 4, and the wrestling team is at the UNK Loper Open. This coming Wednesday, the wrestling team has a duel at Hastings College. And then the following Saturday, the Doane basketball teams will be competing at Dakota Wesleyan, with the women tipping off at 2 and the men at 4. That'll be on Saturday the 19th. This has been the Doane College Review on 99.5 KUTT. Remember, the Doane College Review is every Saturday morning from 8 until 8:30 here on 99.5 KUTT. I'm Jordan Slocum. Until next time, farewell.